Duel start! Today let's bring you the latest anti-meta deck. We start off with gameplay demonstration. Losing coin flip against SuperHeavy Samurai SHS.
In high rank, SHS is currently the most played Tier 1 meta deck. How does this deck compete against it?
For those that are struggling against SHS, good news! This deck is hard counter to Samurai. Unless we lose coin flip against an FTK variant, it is almost guaranteed win with 95% win rate.
That's crazy! Although going second against an FTK deck, currently no deck can beat them if you can't stop the combo.
Exactly, this game opponent is playing Scythe Lock variant. I'd say it is currently the most dominant net deck version.
What makes this deck particular good against them?
We currently have 2 counters in hand, because restriction of SHS cards, which they cannot have spell or trap in graveyard. Their deck is entirely or majority monsters based. We have a Mono Awato in hand that will stop all monster effects. The best counter is Performable 5 Rainbow Magician. With no set card, opponent cannot activate monster effects nor attack. Scythe here doesn't hurt us much. Once our lock is complete, they cannot break out of it.
Then just what Runick gotta do, grind them down.
We first place Rainbow, and opponent has to respond with Negate because it works like continuous spell. Since it is negated on activation, the penned card goes graveyard instead of face-up extra deck. Then we just set card and place it back. Next, let's take a look at a game against Branded.
Branded was previously first and currently second most played deck in high rank.
We start by grabbing field spell by dumping 5 rainbow as cost. Then simply set field and get it back for free. Then with Denko Seka, which if we have no set spell trap, opponent cannot activate their set spell trap nor set them.
I see, with Rainbow on field they now also cannot activate monster effect nor attack. That sounds very similar to Mystic Mine.
Yes, with Hugin protection, this is a permanent lock. Even at Resolving Grasp with a 60 cards main deck, which most people consider as auto-win, there is nothing they can do with most dominant net deck variant.
So what about going second against Branded?
The nature of Branded deck is they lack back row removals, based on current dominant net deck variant. Their main form of back row removal is Guardian Chimera, Borlode Furious Dragon and Branded Beast. That's not enough to deal with this deck.
That kind of makes sense, because current meta is heavily monster negate based. So they tech monster removals.
And here is the deck list. I call it Branded Runick Dogmatica Stun Sekbo.
I see that you're struggling with naming.
We also run 3 copies of Small World in this deck for monster search. I often see SuperHeavy Samurai players letting Small World resolve, and I just search 5 rainbow.
Bam, instant surrender. So what happened if I don't open with the ideal setup or got negated?
Let's show you an example. We start with field search by dumping Seka. If we have any Runick card that can trigger search, I would have dumped Max C instead because the possibility of getting 5 rainbow. If opponent has any negate, this is where they would use it. Then we just use 2 effect monsters link into Predaplant Vert Anaconda, send Branded Fusion and summon Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, setting a card to prevent 5 rainbow lock ourselves, and keeping a card for Sanctifier to revive Fallen of Albaz then use as cost. Then we can summon Mirror Jade the Iceblade Dragon on opponent turn. Another alternative end board is Ecclesia with Fleur-de-Lis in hand for monster negate and punishments set, together with Secret Village which will lock opponent from using spell card. But that doesn't happen often, so I'm gonna skip the demo. Important to note is that this deck is hard to master. We have Dogmatica that lock us from extra deck summon, punishment with same lock but until end of our next turn. For example, if you send Albion the Branded Dragon and grab Branded Fusion, you won't get to use it until next turn. Then Runick spells lock us from attack phase. Then Branded that lock us to Fusion summon. Then there is 5 rainbow and Seka lock which also affect us. You have to calculate ahead of time what card you plan to use and when you should lock yourself.
I see, so those of you copy this deck. If you start losing for not knowing how to play, don't come here complain to us.
Remainders are additional gameplays.
Thank you for watching.
歓迎するぜレイ。
ああ、よろしく。